as a cybersecurity expert, your major role is to protect organization, individual, and their data. Now, for you to protect organization, because organization have a lot of people that visit their websites, a lot of workers, a lot of goods and services, you need to apply a layer of control. And for you to apply a layer of control so that you can actually protect the organization, you need these three things. You need to know what we call switch. You need to know what we call router, and you also need to know what we call firewall. And that is what we are here to talk about. What is a switch? A switch connects different devices under the same network. So it means your computer, your server in your organization, your CCTV camera, your printer, everything, they are connected to what we call switch. And the purpose of connecting all of them to switch is because your organization want to be sending some data, sending for some file from one part to another, from one part to another. And that is all of them, they are connected to what? To switch. Let me give you a proper example. In your house, you have one particular big extension. That extension, it is where you connected your TV. It is where you are charging your phone. It is where you also connected your laptop. It is where you connected your fan and some other devices. Now, that particular extension is the what? Is the switch, because it is the one that is serving all of you. So through that switch now, you guys can actually communicate. So that is exactly how switch look like. Now, what can switch do in an organization? Number one is that switch can be used to send data from one device to another, as long as they are in the same switch. Then number two is that switch also help to locate different devices. That's number two. Number three is that switch prevent confusion and control our network properly. And that is why we use switch. Now, what can attacker do if they get into our switch? What can they do? Number one is that attacker can move laterally from one computer to another. Let's say, for example, in our organization, we connect about 50 computers to switch. Now, attacker now have maybe very small chance to enter into the switch. Attacker can now move from one computer to another. And as a result of that, it can spread malware into all our computers. So all the computers we are using in that organization can be corrupted. At that time, that hackers was able to enter our switch. So switch is usually used in an organization just to connect different computers, different devices for the purpose of what? For the purpose of sharing data and connectivity. So that is that about switch. Now, the second one we are going to talk about is firewall. Remember that all your computers, all your devices within your organization has been connected to the switch. So switch is like the access point to all your computer. Now, because hackers can actually enter the switch and have lateral movement and attack all of you in the organization, or even hijack the whole organization. So there is need for firewall. So this is where firewall will now come into the game. So switch operates internally. A firewall will now be placed in front of it. Now, what is a firewall? A firewall is a device that decides which particular traffic will be allowed to enter or block. So firewall is the one that will now filter out different users that are coming to the organization. Different users that want to have access to the organization. So it is the firewall that will decide who should enter, who should not enter, based on the rules that has been configured on it. Now, firewall is just like your gate man. You are inside. All of you in that compound, you are using switch to connect, to communicate, to share one or two things. Now, the Abuki that is outside, your gate man, is the firewall. Is the one that will allow thief to enter or thief not to enter. It's the one that will allow good people to enter and bad people not to enter. So that is exactly the way it is. So it means your gate man, if your gate man did not know that person, or that person did not show his identity that he actually knows you, the gate man will not allow the person to enter. And that is exactly how firewall operates. And it's because of the rules you have given to your gate man. So that is how firewall actually operates. Now, what are the things that firewall will do? Number one, firewall will block hackers. So it's going to notice their suspicious movements, or maybe they are trying to use some tools to scan the organization. It's going to, this one is an hacker. It will block the person. That's number one. Number two is that firewall is going to control the ports. Like, okay, this also port should be open. This also port should be closed. This also port should be allowed. This also port should not be allowed. So firewall will really want to do it. Number three is that firewall can stop malware. Maybe somebody is trying to send a malware to your organization. firewall will what? Will stop it. Or any kind of boot attack, firewall can what? Can stop it. Or DDoS attack, firewall can stop that. Number 4 is that firewall protect the organization server. It prevents bad people from reaching the server of the organization, so that they will not be able to inject malicious stuff inside your organization. So that's number 4. Number 5 is firewall also monitor all the activities that's happening. Every IP address, every traffic that's entering the organization, firewall is taking note of them. It's knowing them, it's taking notes, it's jotting them down for reference purpose. So firewall is just like the decision maker that decide which traffic should be allowed and which one should not be allowed. And firewall is always placed in front of your switch. So your switch will be internal, while firewall will be what? Will be in front like this. So that anything that want to come in must first, you understand, meet the decision maker that will allow the person, the balancer that will allow the person to what? To either enter or not to enter. So you guys you are internal. Understand? Somebody want to have access to your organization. So it's firewall that will actually filter the person. Okay, this person is bad. Oh yeah, get out. Oh, this person is good. Oh yeah, you can go in. So that is the major work of firewall. Before I proceed, what are the types of firewall that we have the organization can use to protect their internal network? Number 1, we call it next generation firewall. This is the kind of firewall that have a very strong security. This firewall can monitor, can detect malware, can block any kind of malicious activities, can encrypt data, can do all sorts of things, all sorts of security. They are in this kind of firewall, and that is why organizations prefer to work to use them. Example is Fortinet firewall. Then number 2, we also have what we call web application firewall. That is WAF. Now this is the kind of firewall that can also filter malicious traffic, can protect website from DDoS or DOS attack, from brute force attack, from different kind of attack. So this firewall is very good and it's very useful to protect websites and application. So example is Cloudflare firewall. Then we also have CloudFront for AWS and some other firewall like that. So those one we call them web application firewall because they can actually do a lot of protection to application. Then number 2, we have stateful firewall. These are the type of firewall that can actually track the connectivities and ensure good traffic are only allowed. But this one they are not strong because they have just little security. But the first 2 I mentioned, they are the best, and they are the best firewall we have at this moment. Now let's go to the next part, which is the router. Now, what is a router? A router is a device that connects all your internal network to the internet. Now, your organization, they are connected what? They are connected all the computers, all the devices, all the printer, all the system, and all the server. They are connected to the switch. And in front of that switch, they are placed what? Firewall in front of it. Now, the next thing they need to do is to go on what? On internet, so that people can access their service. So for them to go on internet, they need what we call what? A router. Now, this is a home router for household. This one now is for me to connect my phone, my laptop, or whatever I'm using at home to connect them to the internet. In an organization, they use a bigger router. They use Cisco system router. They also use Fortinet router. A lot of router like that. So it's based on what? Based on the security configuration or based on their needs. So that is. So I'm just using this one to show you an example of a router. And think of router like this. Router is just like that road that is in front of your house, and it is the one that connects you to other cities. So that's how router look like. You understand? You are internal in your house. So for you to go to other city to see other things, to see other people, you have to follow that road. So that road now is what you see, router. Now, what are the work that router? Number 1, router send traffic to the internet. So you send whatever things you are selling in the organization, send it to the internet so that people can access it, so that people can buy or do whatever they want with it. Number 2 is that it brings response back. Maybe somebody order something from your organization website. So it is the router that actually will bring the response back to you and say, oh, somebody has ordered so thing. Okay, and the person that is also ordering will also receive. Then number 3, it's the one that assign IP address. So it's one that will assign IP address. Oh, so person is connecting. This is the IP address, like identification number. You understand? Internet protocol number. So it is one that assign the IP that everyone on internet is going to use to connect. Then it can hide internal devices using what? Using NAT. So all your organization computer, all the things that are connected to your switch, router will be hide them. You not allow them to be exposed to the internet. Now, what are the things that hackers can do if your router security is weak? Number 1 is that hackers can scan the router, and the moment they are able to scan the router, they will get into your system. Number 2 is that they can exploit open ports. So if they see maybe some unnecessary open port are open, they can exploit it and penetrate and drop payload into your organization, begin to attack or spy on the organization. That's number two. Number three is that they can hijack traffic. They can control the people that want to visit your website or your organization. They can direct them to another place or another phishing website. So those are the kind of things they can do if your organization router is actually weak and not strong. Now let me now tell you the attack chain. How hackers can penetrate an organization. The first thing they do is, because the organization is placed on the internet, they are linked to the internet. The first thing hackers do is to scan the internet. They scan the internet and try to look for router or firewall. So if they detect that, okay, there's router, but there's no firewall, they'll be smiling. So they have free movements. You understand? And if your router did not have strong security, they have free movement, they will enter. But if they detect that your firewall is placed, or your firewall is in place, they will look for a way to bypass the firewall. They will look for a way to bypass the firewall so that they can drop that payload. That's when they can do packet fragmentation. So they'll do packet fragmentation so that the organization firewall will not even detect that they are scanning this, or the organization firewall will not even know that they are dropping something. Or they can spoof a trusted IP.